talk about the tables in the back and what they mean so we all understand. And if somebody says, well, you're on the zoning board, what about this? Do I have to do this? You can say, well, this is what governs it, or this is how you get there. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why people have to come, use variances, area variances, where we look up to see if they need one, that kind of stuff. And we can, it's not just going to be a lecture. I'm not going to just tell you this or that or Joe. We're going to have a sort of a cooperative discussion about it, and we're going to count it, and we'll just keep track of these. I'm the one who actually determines whether something qualifies as training or not and how much it qualifies. So I'm assuming that people are going to be doing some work with this. If we do this over 4 or 5 or 6 sessions throughout the year, I think it'll be helpful. Plus, we can do it not about specific cases coming up, but what we might have done with cases during the year and why things happened that way. And I'm looking for requests for different topics. So that's what we'll do after. But does anybody have questions about the other questions about the TWA subdivision or precedents that we have for this type of variance granting? No. I mean, we want to be thorough, and I think that there is going to be some public comment. I also want to remember that our jurisdiction is about these variances. It is not about specifics about site plan, especially if they're not changing it. There's some, I think there's been some discussion about screening or how it might affect the neighbors if changes are made. Any of those changes, I would assume, at least assume, if not implore people to understand that that's really planning board jurisdiction. Our real question is, are they allowed to stay with what they have exactly as it is now? So,
Ron, if I could add something to that.
yeah.
Okay, so I think what you said is mostly true about jurisdiction and planning board in that, but it does appear that the south lot is going to be adding a few parking spaces, and it'd be my position that would actually trigger a screening requirement that's in our zoning ordinance for that area. Everything else that remains untouched is essentially pre-existing, and that would be my position on that. But the lower portion of the south lot appears to be adding parking spaces, and I would say that you know, it totals more than 10 spaces, and I would say that would kick in a screening requirement for that area.
Okay. But in general, this is as part of this subdivision, this planning board would look at any of the site requirements, correct? Those stuff?
Yes, that's right.
Right. We also have some minutes in our packet we can look at after and get approved. Other than that, does anybody have anything they want to bring up or questions about this? You want to take a bathroom break before we start? I don't care. Anyway, people need to. We have a few minutes. I'm serious about that. If nobody has any other questions or concerns about it, then I think if you want to take just a minute to make sure you're ready, do whatever you want. Go to the bathroom, get a drink, snacks, turn the DVR on.
Glass of wine.
Yeah.
Ron.
Yeah. Yes.
How long have you been on the board?
21 years.
Do you know did you know my father, Richard Jaguar?
Who was it?
Richard Jaguar.
Oh, Desi?
No, that's my uncle. My dad was Richard. He was on the zoning board at one time.
Not when I was on it.
No.
That was.
I don't know
before-
when. I didn't
Yeah,
remember.
he was before I was on the zoning board in June of 1999.
Yeah, that was before you. Yeah. No,
That
Des
was
is my
after.
uncle.
He was
Pardon?
before that.
Yeah.
And which one was he? Richard Jaguar?
Yeah, he was on it for
Desmond Jaguar. And,
Des is my, yeah, he's my
and
Desi, uncle.
Right. And Desi was also went to school with me. That was the son. That was your
Yeah,
uncle.
that my dad, yeah, he and my dad were brothers. My dad was
What's
the
the
baby.
sister's
So.
name?
Teresa.
Huh?
Teresa.
Right.
Yeah. He was on, my dad was on it for like 10 years, I guess. So
Right. That was before
anyway.
I knew Desi from back then. So we're just going to stay on this meeting now at 7 in 4 minutes. We'll start the official meeting. And right, is that correct? We're not going anywhere. So, has anybody been vaccinated besides me? You have both? Have you had both, Julie? PJ, what have you had? One?
Yep, just the one.
Yeah. And Joe, are you vaccinated? Both? One? What about you, Kyle? One. And Lisa?
I've had two.
You've had two, yeah. I had mine and I'm clear now. I've been over 2 weeks. I get to hang out with my grandkids. It's very nice. They can come in my house. I've had people in my house for the first time in 1 year. It's pretty different, really. So it's good. We're getting there. We're getting there a little bit by little bit. Some of you are a little too young to vaccinate, right?
I think we're actually both eligible as of Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you eligible, Ellie?
As of Wednesday, yeah, nonprofits are eligible Wednesday.
Great. Great.
Yeah, he opened it wide up. I mean,
Yeah, that's
there's
good.
hardly anybody that isn't eligible anymore.
Well, I heard at one point that you could go on that day and you'd find there were appointments made, to make and stuff. So It was tougher earlier on, but it's good. It's good. We'll see how it does. I can feel the microchip in me though. All right, we'll do this, and I think I'm looking forward to about a half an hour of training discussion today. Okay, and I the TWA thing is a relatively, I mean, especially because nothing new is getting done, I think is an important thing. So, I mean, other than the property line, I remember when we did, was that Pine Harbor, Kennedy's Pine Harbor? I think so, right?
No, it's Tall Pines.
Huh?
I think it's Tall Pines.
Oh, Tall Pines, right. Pine Harbor's tied to the other assisted, right? Tall Pines, that was a large lot. They hadn't even built some of it, and they had to subdivide it, and only one part could stay a planned unit development. Although I think, Joe, that if we knew then what we know now, that could have been subdivided off as a lot and stayed part of the planned unit development, right? Just like,
I think you're right, yeah.
and I don't know if we're going to see that situation much more, but where we could have done it here. There was discussion at one point about planned unit developments don't have to say one lot; they can be subdivided. We found that out early on during working on Prime, so that means that theoretically this could have been a planned unit development, just a different way to approach the same question. So I'm just waiting for 7 so I can say meeting's open. When do you think we're going to the Pepper again? There's the big question. Not for a
July.
while, probably, right?
July meeting.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough thing. Pretty soon. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. At this point, I'm going to call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for March 15th, 2021, where we will hear various and sundry, and at this point, only one application for relief from the zoning ordinances. Kyle, we have the applicant. Is it just Aaron? Aaron, are you the only one here as the applicant? You're,
Yeah, just myself.
okay, great. Okay, so this is, and we'll have a public hearing for any comments. This is an application from TWA LLC. I gotta put reading glasses on. For proposed subdivision of an existing multifamily complex. We have the attached letter from Aaron Ovius about each of the questions. It meets all of the Vulcan area requirements for the R2 zone except for a front yard, pre-existing non-conforming dimension, correct?
Correct.
Right. And so you're asking for relief from that because it's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. And relative to the other two items, which are more than one principal structure on each lot and more than 24 units on each lot, correct? Or is it going to be 48 on each lot, right?
Right. There's pre-existing 48 on each lot now. So there's 96 in development. So with the proposed project, all we're really doing is splitting it in half, such that each lot will retain 48.
Okay. And otherwise, are there any other pre-existing non-conforming issues with coverage or anything like that, open space?
No, the only other issue is on the frontage along Healy Avenue. The building predates current zoning for setback from Healy Avenue.
Right, but other than that, there's no coverage issues. And is there
No.
parking? Is there enough parking for both units, or is that a calculation predates also?
No, what it appears to be, and I don't know if the calculation was existence, but with the subdivision, we'll actually be short. I want to say it's like 5 spaces on the south lot. So we're looking to add those 5 spaces along the east side of the southerly lot.
Okay.
Therefore, both lots will be fully compliant with current zoning for parking.
Is that part of are you adding to an existing parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, so does that property line adjoin another property owner, another residential property owner?
Yep. So basically, it backs up. I don't know if that's Aaron or whatever that street is. So,
okay,
our backup is
Sandra.
Sandra. So there is a nice egg easement in that area, and there's no pole line. So there's already a heavily wooded buffer between the backside of the homes on Sandra and this development. So currently, it's just some gravel area that we would be improving. So we're not need to do any clear treeing or removing of that buffer in order to put those in.
right. I guess the only other question would be, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it. When you increase that parking, that would trigger something with the planning board to make sure that you have proper screening between 10 or more spaces, probably. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's already existing buffer there. If you even look on
Well, that's up to them though, right? I'm saying the planning board.
Yeah, so if the planning board, if we have the 6 spaces, if that triggers any review by them, it doesn't bother us because I said we have existing buffers all around the property, so that's not a concern.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions about this that might spur me to ask other ones, or?
Yeah, I mean, basically in short, it's a fairly large existing development, 96 units. So the applicant purchased it late last year and originally thought he would, take the whole project on. Obviously, some of these buildings have had some deferred maintenance on them. So he's looking to, clean up the property and invest some money into it. He had another party approach him to ask if he would be interested in joint venturing on the projects. And what they came up as an agreement is that they would each take half of it. So really, that's why the application is before you. So we're not looking to build any new units. We're not looking to expand parking. We're not changing anything from what anybody would see as they drive by it. It's just we have two separate parties who have decided to do the project together, and rather than share it all as one entity, they decided they would each just take half of it. So
Except for also adding, the only other addition, I'll call it construction wise, is the adding of 5 spaces on the south lot.
Correct.
Okay. Questions, Scott, PJ, Megan, Ellie?
Is it 5 or 6 spaces?
yeah, honestly, I don't have the map in front of me. I can't remember if it was 5 or 6. It's
And share it if you like, Ron.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah. Do you see it?
That was Kyle who stated that. He's gonna share the document, but it looks like 6 spaces.
Okay, so I see 3 there. Yeah, it actually shows it right, the 3 on each end of that.
Right.
Okay, but again, that would be part of the site plan and any, that would be a part of the site plan approval for the subdivision, correct? They're gonna tell you about buffering or not.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We've made the joint application, so we're before the planning board next week.
Right. Okay. Scott, is that okay? Any other questions from anyone? All right, I'm gonna open this up to public comment. Kyle, do we have anybody raising their hand?
No, sir.
Say that again, no?
No.
Okay. There's nobody, is it safe to, is there anybody from the public watching this?
There are 3 attendees right now.
Okay. And nobody's raising their hand to comment. Okay. And I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this at this time. And if the board has no other questions regarding it, I'm going to look at taking action on the seeker. Is that appropriate for everyone? Scott?
Yeah, I just had a simple question. Does this predate Healy Ave?
It's funny. The survey that we found, I think Healy Avenue was there. I don't think it was to the size that it was, but Healy Avenue appeared to be there. It dates back to the early 70s. So I think there was a road there. I don't think it actually, the back half, I don't think was completed, meaning whatever Healy turns into at the backside.
Yeah, I seem to remember that Healy only came down to where the office buildings were.
Right. That's right. I thought
initially.
it went Route 3 back to that office building and it didn't go any further. Right.
And yeah,
Because it was
and
actually all developed by Willie. That was all the same developer who owned the property across the street, the office building where the doctors used to be, and this property was all done by Wolf back in the day. So
okay.
Relative to the seeker itself, it doesn't, the only thing I saw as far as comments from anybody, any other departments, was that Public Works, I think it was, or infrastructure, whatever that is, wanted to make sure that the easements were presented formally or something, which I guess will be part of the planning board. Is that correct, Aaron? Will you be submitting?
yeah, we've already had conversations with community development and planning staff, reviewing the draft reciprocal easement agreement. So all that will be fully in place prior to filing the subdivision.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's a deeded issue, isn't it? Anyway, you can't do that till the deed is done, correct?
Yeah, well, it's the idea that they share, the parking. So obviously, we need to make sure that both parties are protected for access and egress. The one has the right to travel of the other. That easement agreement basically allows the facility to operate as one entity, as it always has for the last, 40 years.
Right. Right. Okay, relative to the seeker, there's no increase in any way in uses of anything public. You do have down on, the only question I would have on number 2 is that you list planning board and zoning board. Joe, is he gonna need a permit to increase that parking, the building permit?
Yes,
Okay, so we will change, I understood the logic of it. We'll change number 2 to say also building permit.
That's fine.
Otherwise, you have nothing else you're really doing there. I had reviewed the seeker itself otherwise and didn't find anything where there was that confused me or that I thought should be changed otherwise. Again, this is the short one, but for some reason, Aaron, this doesn't have the questions 1 through 11 and all that. Is this the one you generate this at your office?
Yeah, it's the autofill. It's from the DEC's environmental web.
Yeah, but there's a different one that's got 11 questions at the end about little or no. I'll sign this. I don't have a problem with that.
It's a separate form. So when you fill it out as the applicant online, it prints out just part 1. You actually have to open up a separate site to get to the
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So Lisa, maybe what we'll do is we'll watch for this when the applicant fills it out online, and then we can just print a blank part 2 because there's nothing really on there. It's just the questions and the signature part, and we'll take care of them. Matter of fact, actually, we can vote on it, and when you send me the tally sheet, whatever that is, that final sheet, we can put that with it too. Right?
Okay.
Part
Yep.
2. Okay? All right. So does anybody have any questions on the seeker itself? If not, I'm looking for a motion that allows me to sign the 11 questions and showing little or no adverse impact. Saying that and checking that on those questions.
I'll make a motion in regards to the short environmental assessment form for appeal 2261, that after review of part 1, that we decided that the questions 1 through 11 in part 2 be checked no or small impact may occur. And as a result of that, that the chair in part 3 check and sign that this project will have no or small impact as a result of it.
Okay.
I'll
Seconded. Megan did. Thank you, Megan. For that, we're going to do a raising of hands. All in favor of the 5 of us voting? A raising of your hand is an aye. Yes. Okay. So the seeker is taken care of. Are there any other questions from anybody on the board? Because if not, I'm looking for a motion that should include granting of a variance for the front yard, for the yard setback as a pre-existing non-conforming condition, and assuming that otherwise everything, including parking, is with the added parking, is adequate. I'd like that put in there. And finally, that the variances granted are for both number of principal structures and number of dwelling units on each lot as per the plans. That's what I'm looking for.
I'll make a motion in regards to appeal 2261 for the applicant TWA LLC and the location of the project is 9 Healy Ave, that we grant a variance for the proposed subdivision where the number of buildings and the dwelling units do not meet current code but are pre-existing conditions. And additionally, that the setback from Healy Ave, which is pre-existing condition, be granted. And in addition, the 6 additional parking spaces on the lot, on the south lot.
Seconded by Ellie. Okay, this one we're going to chat with Lisa, and we're each going to send her a yes or a no. A yes is to approve the variances.
Megan, yes.
Yes.
PJ, yes.
Yes.
Ron, yes.
Yes.
Elizabeth, yes.
Yes.
Scott, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Aaron?
All right.
are
Thank you
still
very
here?
much for holding this meeting for me.
Oh, yeah. You're all set, Aaron. Thank you. If they have any questions at the planning board, they can get a hold of us.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right. Thanks, everyone. That was good. 7:16, 7:15, we'll say. Pretty good. Not as fast as the one last month in 8 minutes or no, but you know what? Actually, that's a good thing that we don't belabor some of this stuff that's relatively obvious, I think, and just try to show how thorough and smart we are all the time. I'm really serious about that. You know, like people belabor it, like to make sure that everybody understands it, how thorough and great they are and smart. And I think we know, you know, this is good. And we did a good, efficient job. We have 2 sets of minutes, I think. Is that right, Lisa? Something like that, right?
You have January and February and then a
Oh,
bunch.
these are all the Shalice ones.
Yes.
Yeah. She should have gotten them done sooner. That's her fault. No, I'm not. I'm not going there. Anyway, has everybody read the minutes from February? Those were not. Those were yours, though, right, Lisa? And January, and then those are the last 2. Does anybody have any questions about those and or the other minutes?
I reviewed them all, and I guess the only one that really caught my eye is July 20th. They have me both present and absent. I know I'm good, but I tend to think that maybe I was not there because I was up at camp that week. And if you had a full slate, I may have said, well, I'll just bow out. I may have come in and just said, I'll leave.
I remember that. Yeah. That was July, right?
Yep. On my calendar, it shows my meeting, but it also shows me in Saranac Lake.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me get to that. Sorry about
And I don't see my name on any of the motions.
What's that? I'm sorry, say it again.
I don't see my name on any of the motions, especially the last one, so, which would be to adjourn. I'm
Okay,
usually
so-
quick on that.
Okay, so we want to have those changed, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, I think I'll do them one at a time just because. And I'm going to go from the very, I got them out of order now. All right. Regarding the May 4th, It's not May 4th, is it? We didn't meet on May 4th.
It
It's
may have
May,
been a special meeting.
Oh, was that a special meeting? Maybe, I guess it was, right? Oh, I guess we did, yeah. All right, so all in favor of approving the May 4th, 2020 meeting of the zoning board, raise your hand and say aye. That was in attendance. Aye. Right, thanks, Julie. All right, that's May. June, all in favor who attended in June, raise your hand and say aye.
aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed May 18th, our regular meeting. I apologize. All in favor of approving the minutes from May 18th, raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We did June. And now, July. All in favor?
I'll make a motion to approve the July 20th, 2020 meeting minutes with the modification that Scott DeMaine be taken off present, as
Okay.
he is already listed as absent.
Okay. Seconded by Megan, Ellie, or PJ. Megan. All in favor of approving the July 20th meeting minutes as changed, raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Scott, you can't vote because you weren't there. And then the June 23rd, oh, did I miss that? Was that another special meeting? June 23rd meeting. All in favor of approving the June 23rd meeting, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye, okay, there's at least enough of us. Now, we have February and January, correct? And that's it. So the January meeting, and I want to be a little tiny bit careful about the January 19th meeting, because frankly, this is the one that's talked about. And these minutes, if it wasn't filed, if for some reason the quote action we took at the January 19th meeting where we said that the final site plan met our conditions relative to the 92 parking spaces, if for some reason they don't count it as filing, Lisa, what you did on the 20th, it is from the date of the minutes. Okay, for that meeting. So I just want to make sure that we understand that. And when you talked about that, we said that I could sign both of them, and both of them, we said that I could sign those on there, but we also, we approved the letter that the zoning board received stating that the plans are consistent with our conditions and to include the statements that were recorded at this meeting. In other words, that's where we said to Prime, whatever you say at this meeting also at that time. So I read this, and I mean, I was concerned about this, and I read this on this one thing, and it's consistent with what I remember from that meeting. So I don't want to change it, but I just want to point out that this is an important meeting minutes, more than some of the other ones. So with that said, I'm looking for a motion to approve the January 19th, 2021 meetings, and the vote that could be by me, Scott, Megan, Ellie, and PJ. Kelly, yeah, but Kelly was not here. PJ, did you participate in that?
I was there. I'm trying to,
I think you were there, but did you actually? I don't think you voted.
I
You
don't think
probably
so.
did because I couldn't.
Kelly. Trying to remember if I did, because I think everybody else was there.
Oh, Megan was, no, you did, because Megan and Julie did not vote. You must have voted, PJ. All right, I'm
Oh,
only.
I did.
Yeah.
I did in that one.
So, I'm looking for a motion regarding the January 19th meeting minutes.
Julie never votes.
Yeah, not yet. You will, though, we promise.
I make a motion to approve the January 19th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Okay, seconded by Megan. All right, all in favor with a raising of hands, say aye. Aye, okay, that is all the meeting minutes. Oh, no, February. This one was the one where we granted the one little variance and all were relieved that we didn't have to talk about any other issue. So all in favor, I'm sorry, a motion on the February minutes.
I'll make a motion in regards to February 8th, 2021 meeting minutes that they be approved as written.
All right, seconded by Megan. All in favor? Aye. Okay, all set.
Aye.
That's the meeting minutes. Does anybody else have any new business before we adjourn this meeting and then start our private session? No? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll
And,
make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
okay, seconded by Ellie. Okay, all in favor of adjourning? Say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we're all set. So that is now, Kyle, how, does it say community development, but nobody's here from community development?
I'm actually community development.
Right, okay. So we want no other participants or viewers of this anymore because this is not a meeting. It's not an open meeting. This is a training session.